Tsuhi. I wonder what Topeka sees when she looks up into the sky. Power forgotten. Tsuhi seeks an adventurer with a penchant for the magical. Oh, hello. Did Brukevu send you to help recover our stolen treasure? Thank the heavens. And judging by your accoutrements, you're learned in the arcane arts, yes? If so, we've need of your power and wisdom. Truth be told, it is wisdom that we require most. You see, even though the treasure has been guarded by our people for generations, we know little of its true nature. In ages past, the forests of our homeland were plagued with terrible beasts, a constant source of fear and danger. To combat this menace, our mages spent many moons researching the treasure, known as the Perch of the Apex. Upon unlocking its secrets, they were able to drive the monsters from the woods, bringing peace at last. With the threat all but eradicated, our forebears forbade any further use of the treasure and enshrined it within the village. As the years passed, we slowly forgot what it was to live in fear. Yet as our struggles faded into memory, stories surrounding the Perch of the Apex became legend, then myth. Now, none living are certain of its true power. Yet the peace was shattered by a member of the Passage of the Unbound. The villain wheedled his way into our trust, then stole upon my husband, the treasure's appointed guardian, catching him unaware with a terrible blow that left him unconscious. He has yet to awaken, so my daughter Topeki has set forth to retrieve what was stolen. Unlike her father, she has no skill in the arcane arts, and chose the path of the sword. That's why I've been seeking someone with the knowledge she lacks, should the ancient power be unleashed. Please, if you can find it in your heart to help Topeka, I would be forever grateful. Consider it done, or if there's a mystic artifact involved, count me in. Consider it done. Oh, thank you, thank you. Now, our only clue to the thief's whereabouts is from something he mentioned during his stay in our village. He spoke of his desire to bring change to a place called Ranged. That is where Topeka decided to begin her search, so she boarded a ferry bound there, by way of Limsa, with her trusted sword and shield close at hand. That's how you'll know her. She agreed to stay in Ranged to gather information until aid arrived. I know nothing of the place, but it's likely she can be found in a marketplace or some such. Please, bring our treasure and my daughter safely home. Topeka said she would spend time getting the lay of Ranged and speaking with its people. You will know her by the distinctive sword and shield she carries. Tepeke. Oh, are you looking for me? Whatsoever for? Evray? And you say my mother sent you? I take it she's already explained the details, such as how we know next to nothing of the treasure and its capabilities. We have only the legends passed down through our forebears to go on. They speak of a Turavidral of an owl that once terrorized the forests, whose soul is sealed within the perch of the apex. The tales have only become more vague as the mists of time obscure the treasure's origin. Even our village's eldest remembers naught but an ominous warning uttered by those who once wielded its magics. The master of the apex shall be showered with good fortune, yet leave only sorrow in their wake. It's clear that despite owing their safety to the apex's power, our forebears viewed it as something to be feared. It must be truly immense. Now, onto the matter of the thief. Even during our brief acquaintance, he made plain his desire to bring change to Radzithan. Naturally, I have started my search here, and have been seeking anyone who's expressed dissatisfaction with the status quo. Sure enough, I soon heard stories of a recent arrival, a self-styled savior of Radzithan, who proclaims that he will lead the city to greatness, and calls himself the Justiciar? Justiciar? Interesting word. Is it a real word? Justicia, an administrator of justice. Justicia. Okay, cool. We learn. Calls himself the Justicia. He's apparently taken on the burden of personally exterminating the beasts which infest Thavnir's wilds. He made a great show of claiming he alone is equal to the task. While he certainly draws a crowd with his boasting, they only watch with morbid curiosity as he sets off into the jungles alone. I realize this could have nothing to do with our problem, but even the smallest lead must be pursued. I have heard he often gives his speeches at the region's smaller settlements. So, shall we go to see the Justicia for ourselves? It's decided. I hear Yedlimad would be a good place to start. Hopefully there we can find our next crumb of a clue. Huron boy, you're looking for the Justicia too? One of the soldiers just went after him. Tepeke. Evray, we're in luck. This boy saw the very man we seek. It seems he gave the same grand speech about saving the people, claiming that danger lurked nearby before venturing forth to combat it alone. Yet the Radiant host could not well stand idle if there truly were beasts afoot. So, one of them followed him. All we need to do is pick up their trail. Huron boy. He ran towards the shroud, but you might be able to spot him from Kajaya's footsteps. You can see the whole forest from there. Tepeke. Thanks, you've been very helpful. So, Evray, let's head there and see what we can see. German boy, the soldier just left. If you hurry, maybe you can catch up with him. Topeke. Now then, let us begin our search. Since I have never actually seen the Justiciar, I suggest we find the Radiant Host soldier first. They do all wear similar armor, after all. Oh, that's weird. It says the exact same thing. Ominous music. Fallen fungi. Whatever that is, it isn't moving anymore. Could it be one of the fiends the Justiciar is after? Radiant Host soldier. Oh no! Alright. That must be him. But what happened? We'd better get down there quickly. Topeke. Not to worry, Evray. He's unconscious, but otherwise appears unharmed. Season Radiant. What happened? Topeke, we heard you came here in pursuit of the Justiciar. Do you remember anything? Season Radiant. Yes. I eventually found him. He was confronting that fiend that now lies dead. Justiciar. At last, the Justiciar graces Radzit heart. I shall bring unending peace to this beleaguered land. Justiciar. You are brave to follow in my path. Few indeed possess the mettle to even consider the terrors which threaten our home, let alone stand against them. Yet courageous though you may be, you are far too weak to follow be so mighty. Quit this place with your life while you are yet able. Seasoned Radiant. I am the Radiant host. If I ran from such meager prey, I would become a laughingstock. Justisha. How bold, to look death in the eye without flinching. I doubt not your conviction to defend Razid-Han, yet I believe it pales before mine. O Apex, bestow upon me your divine might. Do you not heed my call? I require your power more than ever. Seasoned Radiant. Is something supposed to happen? Just sure. Why? Am I yet unworthy? Or mayhap there is a button I must press. This is not what I expected. Seasoned Radiant. Stand aside. I'll dispose of this pest. Justisha. Just give me a moment. It cannot end like this. I won't be made a fool. Come on, you moldy trinket, work. Transform me into the hero of Razid-Han. Oh no. Dude, that would have killed him. Seasoned Radiant. He brandished that idol and became wreathed in a mysterious light. Then boulders started falling from the sky. Down they came, one after the other. That's when I must have been struck unconscious. I recall only faintly, but I think I heard the man mumbling, quite excitedly, as if he had come upon a sudden revelation, or as if he was overtaken by madness. It seems he got away unscathed. Either he had an incredible stroke of luck, or whatever he was beseeching to actually answered. Tepeke. Then it's as I suspected. This Justisha is the self-same thief who stole the perch of the Apex. But no doubt he's long departed from here. First, I'll escort this fellow back to Yedli Mad and keep a close eye on him. Head wounds can have dreadful after effects. The soldier made his way to Razid-Han to make a formal report. And what an odd report it will be. His account seemed to align with legends of the treasure's powers. The wielder escaped unharmed and brought ruin to those around him. Could those falling rocks have been a freak accident? I'm not so sure. Huron boy. You won't believe it. He came back. Tepeke. Who came back? The Justiciar? Kieran boy. Yes, not long after you left. He said he beat up a monster that knocked out a Radiant, and he was laughing his head off. Did he really do that? Is he really stronger than the Radiants? Whatever he did, the monster was slain, I suppose. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Right down the middle. On the fence. Kieran boy. Well, my mate can't stop talking about him. He wants to be just like the Justiciar. His mum and dad weren't happy about that, though. It's okay. I'd advise you and your friend to look for a different role model. But we thank you for telling us what happened. Well, there is one less fiend skulking about, I suppose. He may have been simply testing the treasure's capabilities, and as far as we know, he's yet to use its power to evil ends. I find his motivations a mystery. To steal the perch of the apex by force, only to come here to Thavnir and use it for good? It makes no sense. You've heard tell of this passage of the Unbound, yes? Many have ventured to Tuliolal claiming to be their victims. Yet here they would be saviors? If he had such noble goals, then why did he stoop to such devious deception? What could he be plotting? But that's neither here nor there. He stole from my people, and that misdeed can't be forgiven. The perch of the apex helped us win peace. By its might, our forebears built the foundation of the lives we now lead. Until recently, it stood silent, a symbol of our pride as a people. It reminded us that we carved out a home within that inhospitable wilderness. Being trusted with its protection is a great honor. I was so proud of my father when the elders chose him. So proud to be his daughter. Yet since the day it was stolen, some of the other villagers made their disdain towards him only too clear. I couldn't bear it. That's why I must get it back, to restore my village's pride and my father's reputation. There's still so much we don't know about the Justiciar. But we have to assume he's learned to wield the Apex's power. I can't say whether those falling rocks have anything to do with it, but I won't discount it outright. I'll continue looking into his whereabouts. While we still have so many questions, with both of us working together, we'll find answers soon enough. A brand of justice. Tepeke wears a troubled expression. Evray. I'm afraid there have been some developments that are less than encouraging. News of the Justiciar's actions have spread throughout the city, and with each retelling his deeds become more valorous. The younger citizens in particular seem to view him as something of an idol. Despite the creatures he hunts posing no real danger, he would paint them as mighty beasts in need of felling. Of course, the Radiant host are far too busy to trouble themselves culling every pest that casts a sideways glance at the city's gates. Yet the Justiciar has twisted circumstances to his advantage. He proclaims to anyone who'll listen that the Radiant host shrink with terror before these beasts. and that he's the only one who can eradicate them. Though you might expect such claims to be dismissed as wild ramblings, it seems no few people have fallen for his ploy. The whispers of his exploits among the youth have practically grown into a clamor. Yet we mustn't be discouraged, for his increasing fame only makes it easier for us to sniff out his trail. And where better to start than Radzithan? I'll see you there, Ray. Given how large the city is, let's split up to cover more ground. I already have a destination in mind, the High Crucible. I hear the alchemists there can concoct all manner of tinctures and powders, including those which helped in detecting traces of energies left behind by magics and enchanted tools. Fallen rocks have invariably marked locations where the Justiciar has performed one of his feats, and I believe an alchemical mixture can help us determine if their presence is the work of the treasure. I'm hardly an expert in such concoctions though, so I'll seek advice at the High Crucible. While I'm doing that, I would ask that you go to the Hall of the Radiant Host and see if they have any new information on the Justiciar's whereabouts. Does that plan sound agreeable to you? Great. Now that we both have our tasks, let's get to them. I'll meet you back here once my business is done. Wonder if I can find her over here. Hey, she's really here. Cool. Tepeke. Oh, I didn't know you had business here too. I may still be a while, so when you're done, please go to the Hall of the Radiant Host and see what they have to say about the Justiciar. I like the attention to detail. Preoccupied Radiance. I'm tired of hearing about this Justiciar. His popularity among the city's younglings is quickly becoming a cause for concern. Try as we might to refute his claims that the Radiant Host are allowing monstrous beasts to run amok unchecked. You know how young minds are, impressionable, and difficult to change once set. We initially disregarded him as a boastful eccentric, but his alarming sway over the populace can no longer be ignored. We are at present considering whether to open a formal investigation into his activities. You and this ally of yours have done well in your search thus far. You even have a working theory about the falling stones. Quite impressive. Several of our number have encountered him during their patrols, only to lose sight of him under a hail of rocks. Such incidents have become all too frequent, and many in our ranks demand we act. But now, I'm afraid this is all the help I can offer. Please share what I've told you with your companion, and together we may yet unmask the Justiciar. If anything I told you can potentially help Mistress Tepeke in her search, please share it with her, and assure her that the Radiant Host are not standing idly by while the Justiciar poisons the people's minds. Alright. Yeah. To pick it. It's heartening to know that the Radiant hosts are taking this seriously. Thank you for speaking with them, Ebre. I have good tidings as well. I explained the situation to the alchemists, and they provided a powder that should help detect traces of magic in the surrounding environment. I say help, because the powder reacts only faintly on its own. To function properly, it requires the skills of one practiced in the arcane arts. Luckily, I have you. I've committed the locations of all sightings of the Justicia to memory, and the closest to us was the perfumed rise. Let's hope this powder works as intended. The Justicia was sighted near here, and I didn't see any other conspicuous stones around, so I've sprinkled the powder over this one. Now, concentrate your focus, or inner eye, or whatever it is that's the locus of your power, and see if you can't detect any unnatural forces. So bright. Cool. So, were you able to detect anything? I knew you could do it. So because there are no crystals in the rock, the energy you detected must be the remnants of some kind of spell. Is that right? And taking the story of the Radiant we rescued previously into account, we can conclude that the Justicia uses the treasure to call those stones down from the sky. At least we now have an inkling of its true nature. Even so, not every question has been answered. The Radiant told us that even as the Justicia stood before the creature, he seemed to have trouble calling forth the Apex's power at first. My father once said that the perch of the Apex is much like the wand he used to weave his magics. Of course, the main difference between them is the unique nature of the essence stored within the treasure. I know little of such arcane instruments, but you must be quite familiar with them. How do you use yours? I channel ether into it. I perform incantations. I rely on sheer willpower. I channel ether into it, probably. Spec, I see. Even with the right instrument, spellcasting requires the use of specific techniques. The Justiciar seems to lack any such expertise. So how did he tap into the treasure's power? I suppose the Perch of the Apex possesses some unique method of activation. When I spoke to the representatives of the other tribes about their treasures, no one mentioned special techniques being required. Not that the relics should have much in common to begin with. Agitated Radiant. You two! Did you see an Ori girl pass through here by herself? Tebeke, I am afraid not. What happened? Agitated Radiant. Wait. I recognize you both. The hero of the final days and our recent visitor from Tural. Apologies for the imposition, but may I beg your assistance? It's all that Justicia's fault. The girl said she was off to join that fool's crusade, and ran out of Yelimat before anyone could stop her. Her mother begged us to find her, but if she's following the Justiciar, she could be anywhere. You see, he's been sighted at locations scattered all over Thavnair. Tepeke, we can't stand here looking at rocks while a girl is in danger, especially if the Justiciar is involved. We have to help. Agitated Radiant. That'd be much appreciated. We're searching places where the Justiciar's been spotted before, so perhaps you could start where he hasn't been seen? Tepeke, good idea. As far as I know, he hasn't been sighted at the northern shores. Come on, Ebre. Agitated Radiance. I'll start my search right away. Pray hurry to the northern shores. I only hope we can find the girl soon. Well, the rain stopped. I thought it never would. Search for them. Here we go. Tepeke. I didn't see her anywhere. I hope she's safe. Let's make this easy mode. Tepeke, I heard fighting, so I came as fast as I could. It's a good thing you arrived in time to save the girl. Ori girl. Thank you, mister. Thank you. Topeka, I'm glad you're safe, but your mother must be worried sick. You shouldn't wander off like that. Especially not to look for a trickster like the Justiciar. Ori girl. What? You mean he's a bad man? Topeka. Yes, exactly. He stole an imported treasure from my village. Now he's using it to make himself look brave. Ori girl. But he needs it to kill the monsters. To protect us. Topeka. That's no excuse for stealing. He might have fooled you younglings, but the Radiant Host knows what he's up to. Ori girl. But he said he'd save us from the monsters. He's our hero. The Radiant said we shouldn't be scared. But we all know the Justiciar is the one who keeps us safe. We don't need the Radiants anymore. They would be very upset to hear you say that. No hero can save the world alone. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Ori girl. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say bad things about the Radiants. They protected everyone in the final days. I guess I forgot how much they care about us. Topeka, I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that after all you've been through. Ori girl. He said the Justiciar is a thief and a trickster. But I hope it's not true. He's my hero. Topeka. Well, I'd best escort her back to Yetlimad. I'll meet you there later, Evray. Yetlimad. Stupid little girl. The girl and her mother are reunited, and I think we can both give ourselves a pat on the back. They're on their way now to inform the Radiant Host that all is well. I would like to apologize for before. I let my emotions get the better of me and harangued that poor girl when she was hardly to blame for anything. I really should have been scolding myself. Evray, there's something I neglected to tell you before. The man who now calls himself the Justiciar came to us in the guise of a worldly merchant. He was eager to ask about the Perch of Apex and its history, and I was equally eager to tell him, not even considering what he might do with the information. I'm so proud of my father for being appointed as its guardian. I suppose I was trying to impress this stranger out of sheer vanity. That vanity led to my father being attacked and the treasure being stolen from under our noses. I have no choice but to make amends for my mistake and bring it back. Yet some are convinced that the Justiciar acts only to serve the greater good. I couldn't accept that he might not be as rotten as I thought, and lashed out at the wrong person. From now on, I can't let my emotions cloud my judgment. I must remain calm and look at the facts for what they are. And the facts say that the Justiciar has done no harm to the people of Thavnir. Even so, the organization he serves organization he serves, the Passage of the Unbound, is evil to its very core. If his actions at my village are not villainy, I don't know what is. The situation is fraught with contradictions. I still don't know what to think. What about you, Evray? There are still too many unanswered questions. Even if he hasn't attacked anyone, his actions are stirring unrest. Yeah. I agree. He speaks of justice and heroism with great bluster, yet there's something we're missing. Thank you, Evray, for your wise words. I sometimes find it difficult to keep my heart from skewing my perspective, so I'm grateful that you're here to help me see clearly. So, it seems our objective is unchanged. We track down the man who stole my people's sacred treasure. Whatever his intentions may be, unraveling them comes secondary to finding the man himself. I'll continue to pour my every effort into the search, so stop by from time to time and I may have something new to share with you. The seeds of popularity. Topeka is eager to share new developments in the search for the Justiciar. Evray, I hope you've been well. Since last we spoke, the Justiciar has been busy felling fiends all across Thavnair, leaving a trail of witnesses behind in his wake. More than a few have reported seeing stones falling from the sky, which all but confirms our theory that the treasure is causing the phenomenon. The stories share one more peculiar commonality. It seems the pests he hunts have all been of the seedkin variety. Why he avoids beasts of flesh and blood is yet a mystery. It bears mentioning that each of these eyewitness accounts came from people who were rescued by the Justiciar, who invariably appears just as these creatures attack. In fact, the Justiciar has been there to save the day in every single instance of seedkin-related mischief. Awfully suspicious if you ask me, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Some among the Radiant host have suggested that the Justiciar is planning these assaults somehow, so he alone can reap the glory from thwarting them. I agree, and think this should be our next avenue of investigation. Many of these incidents occurred near the Giant's Gull grounds. So we should start our search from there. If we can find one of these monstrous plants before it finds hapless prey, we may be able to shed light upon the Justiciar's methods. Time is of the essence, so let's leave at once. Okay. Topeka. Any moving bushes? Slithering vines? Not here in any case. Evray, I'll search the western path. Why don't you search east? If you see something, don't strike to kill. Weaken it, then capture it with this rope. We'll learn much from a live specimen. If you see anything moving... if you see any moving thing sprouting leaves, flowers, or the like, capture it with the rope and bring it here. Okay. Hammer time. Oh wait, I'm not meant to kill it, right? No, it's not weakened enough. Alright. There we go. Drool. Come here, little fella. Okay. I see plenty of fauna roaming about, but the flora all seems to be of the rooted to the ground variety. Perhaps my hunch was incorrect. Captured Morble seedling. Not even an Aurochs could break free from the knots binding this Morble seedling. Oh. You found one! In fact, this is exactly as an eyewitness described. Why don't you keep it for the time being? Bring it to the Great Work, and I'll ask my acquaintance there to examine it with all haste. This alchemist and I spoke briefly the last time I was here. Give her the little seedkin you caught, and we'll see what she makes of it. Kindly alchemist. Mistress Tepeke told me what to expect. Well then, let's see the thing. Oh, I didn't expect it to be so diminutive. If Mistress Tepeke's intuition is correct, then I expect some interesting discoveries are in store. Kindly alchemist, you've brought me quite the fascinating specimen indeed. I can say for certain that this creature's growth isn't natural in the slightest. Biologically, it's still but a sapling, as you can tell by its size. Yet it is the result of a specific alchemical mixture which is used to spur the growth of seeds and mycelium to an unnatural degree. The agents have a side effect of making the creatures more aggressive, which explains why such a small specimen would so boldly attack beings larger than itself. Yet the solution requires ingredients most rare, and the cost of procuring enough to synthesize it would be beyond the means of most. Tepeke. So whoever is behind this, they are likely well heeled. Am I supposed to be able to see the frickin' alchemist? Tepeke. As for the creatures themselves, if they were all grown artificially, perhaps that explains why most of the incidents involved small seedkin. Rather than wait for them to mature naturally, the Justiciar must have accelerated their growth so that he could deploy huge numbers over a short span of time. In fact, his plan likely requires they be small, weak foes in order to guarantee his victory. After all, the great Justiciar can hardly be expected to bear the blemish of defeat. With these new details brought to light, it's almost certain he's staging these attacks on the common folk. Now we have a new perspective to guide our search. Kindly Alchemist, perhaps he should return to Yedlimad. I hear the Justiciar is the talk of the village, and they doubtless have stories to share. Topeke, a splendid idea. Thank you. Your findings have brought us a step closer to unmasking that villain. Let's hurry to Yedlimat. The more accounts we have of the Justiciar, the better our chances of predicting his next move. That was so weird. Where was she? Kindly Alchemist, I only hope that my analysis aids you in finding the answers you seek. Alerts Radiance. Rest assured, the Radiant host are well aware of the Justiciar. Every day we receive more reports of him combating beasts in the surrounding wilderness. These encounters are never on well-traveled roads, it seems. They occur in remote regions that we scarcely patrol, along routes that are only used by a small number of merchants and porters. We've concluded that the Justiciar either has uncommon knowledge of the behavioral patterns of these creatures, or that he keeps close company with a merchant who travels these obscure paths. Enthused youth. Come on, man, you look old enough not to be fooled. Oh, you're hungry to learn more of the Justiciar? He's amazing. I was lucky enough to catch a glimpse of him on the road leading here, facing down a fearsome creature. I don't know how he did it, but he called down rocks from the sky to knock that thing flat. Radiant host were away on patrol, so if he hadn't come to our rescue, that brute would have marched right into our homes. He shouted that he was the savior of Radz-at-Han, and even waved at me. Oh, he looked so impressive with the sun shining behind him. He looked so gallant, standing over his fallen foe, waving at me with the sun at his back. Simp. Watchful man. Don't tell me you've come chasing that half-baked savior. The younglings might be taken in by his honeyed words, but anyone with experience can see that he's nothing but a charlatan. And I have a story to prove it. A merchant I know took a tumble as he was transporting his goods. Not long after comes the Justiciar, looking chivalrous as you please in his shining armor. But did he offer a helping hand? No, he ran off with nary a glance backwards. He may go on about slaying beasts, but a real hero would never ignore someone in need, even if they were just suffering from scraped knees and a bruised ego. What kind of hero would abandon a person in need? My friend is lucky his wounds weren't worse, else he may have died there. Wow. Topeke. Evray, do you have a moment? I'm having a little trouble here. I sought this merchant out because I was told he dealt with the alchemist in the Great Work. I thought he might know something about the Justiciar, but when I asked well, he's been like this ever since. Perturbed merchant. Apologies, I was just Surprised that you would ask me about that madman. What connection could he possibly have with me? Tebeke, the fiends he fights are grown with rare alchemical materials, and we think he may be staging these encounters. Since you deal in such wares, I wondered if you might know how he came into their possession. Perturbed the merchant. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never spoken to that man. Tebeke, I very much doubt that. Perhaps he'll be more receptive to questioning from you, Evray. He seems to have intimate knowledge of trade routes in alchemy. Who taught him, I wonder? Spit it out, you're working with him. Yeah, he obviously is, but let's use our information. Perturbed merchant. Come now, any merchant with a nose for profit has good relations with the alchemists. By your way of thinking, any one of us could be in league with Virazan. Is that his name? Virazan. Tebeke. Virazan, you said. Who is that, may I ask? Perturbed merchant. Huh? What? Did I? No. That's my name. Kinda sussy, bro. Virazan's father. I'd be a fool to continue this charade any longer. My son Virazan is the one you know as the Justiciar. To be suddenly confronted with his litany of misdeeds, I quite lost my composure. Tebeke, you're his father? Then, do you know how he came into possession of such rare materials and knowledge? Virazan's father. Aye, he stole them from me. My most valuable materials and my precious maps. Yet I was the one who chose to hide that fact, and I bear the blame for the consequences. Tebeke, what can you tell us about him as a person? Virazan's father. Virazan was obsessed with tales of legendary heroes, even from a young age. I paid a great deal of money to have him tutored in the art of the bow. He became quite skilled at it, in fact. But not quite as skilled as his arrogance led him to believe. Due to this, and perhaps a lack of ambition, he never aspired to true greatness. Instead, he came to rely upon fanciful equipment and exotic potions, other than honing what skill he had. It pained me to see him fall into dissoluteness, but he would brook no counsel. So, several years ago, I gave him enough coin to support his lavish lifestyle and told him never to speak with me again. He didn't, until but recently, when he darkened my doorstep once more. Tebeke, and that was when he stole your goods? Virazan's father. Aye, although I would have willingly given them if he had but asked. He was rambling almost incoherently, saying that his heroic deeds as the Justiciar had caught the eye of someone named Apyahi, leader of the Passage of the Unbound, whoever they are. He claimed that under the guidance of his newfound allies, he had obtained a great power enough to eclipse all heroes who have come before and shall come after, as he put it. It seems he gives what money he still has to these people. To think that, for all his fanciful words, he has only deigned to grasp at hollow glory, all at the expense of Radzit Han. There is no greater shame as a father. Tebeke, Given what we know of this shadowy group, they most likely aim to sow discontent through Virazan's deeds. He may be so blinded by his own desire for adoration that he can't see whose hands are pulling his strings. Virazan's father. You're saying that he's being used? If that's true, then I can no longer remain silent, despite what shame it may bring. I see now that sharing my story might be the only way to save my son. Tepeke, indeed. I suggest you tell the Radiant host at once. Of course, we'll be pouring our every effort into stopping him. Virazan's father, thank you for giving me direction. I didn't imagine our meeting would end this way. A strange encounter. Tepeke. Truth be told, I'm not entirely unsympathetic towards Virazan. I basked in my father's reflected glory, while having none of my own to speak of. The glory Virazan seeks is similarly false. I too shall visit the Radiant host and have them spread word of the Justicia's true nature. If the people are wise to his trickery, they will be far more likely to aid us. They'll soon learn that a legend built on lies is no match for true heroism. Floundering fame. Tepeke appears pleased with the blow dealt to the Justicia's credibility. Tepeke. Greetings, Evray. Virazan's father has been as good as his word, and has confessed the truth of his son's actions to whomever will listen. Even among the younglings, far fewer sing the Justicia's praises. The tide is turning in our favor at last, and the Radiant host are making ready to tighten the net. Speaking of which, they had curious news to share. They've been examining the stones left behind by the Justicia, and noticed a pattern. They were all varieties of rock commonly found near the site of each encounter. For instance, near the Giant Skull grounds, the Justicia seems to have called down a hail of what else but Giant Skull. I have my own theories about what this means, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, Evray. Rocks weren't summoned, but moved. It's safe to say the artifact doesn't create rocks from nothing. Right, the rocks weren't summoned, but moved. Tepeke. Indeed. The perch of the apex likely lifts whatever stones are nearby, and brings them crashing down to earth. If our suspicions are correct, we're one step closer to unraveling its mysteries. But what about that weird rock analysis thing I did earlier? The rock biopsy. But despite these favorable developments, the Justicia's popularity remains a problem. Even with the recent blow to his credibility, his most ardent followers still idolize him. In fact, I hear he's handing letters to the youth of Razid-Han, though their contents are a closely guarded secret. All the more reason to investigate, don't you think? Once we get to Razid-Han, if I question people around the marketplace, could you cover the city's western quarter? That's where his younger followers tend to gather. After we've collected enough information, let's meet to share our findings. See you again in Razid-Han, Evray. Back and forth, back and forth. Forward and backwards, and then go forward and backwards, and one step forward. Alright. around the marketplace. I'm very curious if she's in the marketplace now. Marketplace being this. I really doubt she's here this time. Yep. Lies. Nothing but lies. Sulking youth. The Justiciar gave me that invitation himself, only for some thief to snatch it right out of my hand. Huh? You believe in the Justiciar too? Well, I didn't have a chance to read the whole letter before it was stolen, but he's gathering his most devoted for a special audience. The bastard who stole my invitation is clearly up to no good. He even muttered something about getting revenge. But who could hate someone so noble? The letter was stolen before I could read it all, but it looks like the Justiciar is gathering his followers for a special audience. Surly youth. Oh, you're the one who's always following that Topeka around. I heard she's spreading rumors about this city's savior. I won't let her harm his reputation any more than she already has, so I have nothing to say to her lapdog. Ask me again and the answer will be the same. Now get out of my sight. Huh. Take that, kid. Downcast youth. Yeah, I know about the letters. Me and my friends didn't get one though. The grown-ups get angry if we talk about the Justiciar. But guess what? I heard Zashal talking about him over by Meride's Mayhay. He had a big grin on his face too. Does that mean the Justiciar isn't a bad man like the grown-ups say? The most useful clues point to the merchant Zashal having some connection with Virazon. He was last seen near Meride's Mayhay. Zashal. Haha, it's true what they say. A fool and his gill are soon parted. Huh? Why, if it isn't one of the heroes of the final days? Heh. This isn't about that map I sold to your companion, is it? You'll find it points to the vaults of Alzadal III, exactly as described. I may have employed a few, creative methods to entice my customers, but what merchant doesn't? I'm not here about the map. I see you're as unscrupulous as ever. Yeah, let's go with that. Zashal. Now, a man can't fill his belly on virtue and honesty. Any road, something tells me that's not why you're here. You're after the Justiciar. Your choice of quarry is unusual, to say the least. But perhaps I can help you along, eh? A young man came asking for a map to open the way to Uznir. I sold him every map I had, assuring him that the one he needed was among them. I suppose he found it, as I hear these letters that were handed out contain a copy of a map. I dare say that young fellow was the Justiciar himself, and he's planning a clandestine meeting in the Uznir canals. Mind you, it appears he has no shortage of enemies. No doubt they'll try to interfere. Thankfully, Radzit isn't known for large-scale criminal organizations. But that hasn't kept the less scrupulous citizens from dirtying their hands when times are desperate. From what I hear, bandits seeking to rob trade caravans keep running into the Justiciar during his fiend-felling exploits, causing their raids to end in failure. Like as not, they'll try to infiltrate his group of followers and settle the score. And that's where my knowledge of the matter ends. If you're wondering where the meeting place is, all I remember is that the spots marked on the copied maps is somewhere in the shroud of the Samga. So, does that answer your queries? Thanks. I shall. The location is somewhere within the shroud of Samga. I can't remember much beyond that. So perhaps you could stop bothering me now? Need a minute. You know, when I was running down here, I almost thought I did see a name here. Did I just run past her without seeing her? I have to chuck the VOD to Beck. Those in support of the Justiciar didn't seem surprised when I told them of his misdeeds, but still they were reluctant to betray him. In short, I've had no luck. What about you, Evray? Your investigative abilities never cease to amaze me. As for this gathering Birazan is planning, I expected some scheme to prop up his flagging popularity. Even so, many of his devotees are younglings, ill-equipped to make the perilous journey to the meeting place. If they've any sense, rather than attempt to travel there directly, they'll stop at settlements along the way to rest and confirm the route. You said the map led into the shroud of the Samga, yes? That means Palakistan is the closest settlement. I hear many took refuge there during the final days, and it's now a bustling town in its own right. The arrival of more people would hardly raise eyebrows, making it the perfect place to avoid unwanted attention while they make ready. We should head there before they leave on the final leg of their journey. Topeka. I was right, Evray. Many of the youths are carrying pieces of parchment. Those must be the letters. Yet it seems my reputation has preceded me. Our suspected followers clearly avoid me whenever I try to approach them. Still, we can use this to our advantage. None of them would dare leave Palakistan while there's risk I might follow after. I'll keep watch over their comings and goings, but we'll make sure to leave obvious blind spots. If one of the Justiciar's followers attempts to escape the village, I need you to go after them. Now, find a vantage point that affords a good view while keeping you hidden. Once you've started pursuing our unwitting targets, I won't be far behind. What are you doing? If they find out that we're working together, this will all be for nothing. Watch from a hidden vantage point and follow anyone you see trying to leave Pelica's stand. Quietly. Yeah. What are you doing, step bro? Is the obvious blind spot right behind her? These youths are all pretty old looking. Follow the young man from a safe distance. Yeah. Do. Come on. Don't turn around at the top, please. Good. No one's following. Is someone there? I'm in the clear. I need to hurry. I made it. It's just my imagination. Harambe. The map points here. Ooh, ugh. Scared the shit out of me. Prince of Youth. The portal should be nearby, and then I'll finally meet him. Halt! What? You're the hero who saved us in the final days. What are you doing here? So you're working alongside that woman I saw at the village? I've heard about the rumors she's spreading, but I had no idea she enlisted your aid. The Justicia saved me, you see. I was transporting goods for a local merchant who was too miserly to even hire a proper escort. A ferocious creature ambushed me, but my savior appeared from nowhere and saw off the beast. I owe him my life. That's why I came here, to see if there's any truth to the rumors. But now I understand I'm in over my head. I'm going back home. Here, you can have the map. I trust you to take the measure of the Justicia and to share the truth with us all. Tepeke. Apologies for watching from the shadows, but I was afraid my presence might have startled the lad. I was able to hear what he said though, and his gratitude towards the Justiciar seemed genuine. I dare say the other followers feel similarly. Well, now that we have a map of our own, let's open the portal and confront Virazan. Ooh. Portal. Interesting. Oh no, he got hit by the rock. Fools. Yeah, that's one ugly guy. What is this place? Tepeke. What a sight. Did the treasure cause this? Justiciar. Oh my, if it isn't the hero who saved Radzithan. Nay, the world itself. I never expected someone so vaunted to attend my audience, but I am honored nonetheless. Tepeke, enough of your games, Virazan. Stop this madness at once. Justiciar. After giving you such a warm welcome, these are the thanks I get? While 'tis true that I was once known by that name, 'twas merely a guise I wore until I discovered my true self. So long as I am the masked hero of Radzithan, I shall not suffer any to call me Virazan. Tepeke, but that is your name, isn't it? A hero should take pride in their name. The game is up. We've exposed your true identity. Why don't you drop the act and try being a true hero? Yeah, let's go with that. Justiciar. A true hero, you say? Indeed. Perhaps casting aside this mask is the price I must pay for the adoration I am due. Ah, shit. Very well. My name shall ring through Radzithan. Let it be known that the Justiciar is Virazan, and Virazan is the Justiciar. Tepeke, what are you saying? You unleashed Perch of Apex upon your own followers? Virazan, you know its name? Wait, I remember you. The girl from Jacques Tourelle, yes? Your village's artifact is not discriminating in its wrath. Some among my followers harbored wicked intentions, and it brought sorrow unto my enemies. The true of heart caught in the aftermath were merely unfortunate. Tepeke, but they believed in you, even though you tricked them. What kind of a hero are you? Virazan, you too would oppose me? I had thought that as fellow saviors, we might find some common ground. Yet it would seem we are destined to walk different paths. Ooh. Now faced with unknown peril, a great fervor rages within me. However, here is not where we shall match wits. No, a more fitting battleground is in order. We will meet again soon, you have my word. Bye. Topeka. Ah, shut up. Where's I go? He's still there. Did you knock him out? Boo. Topeka. So, can you tell us what happened here? Keep it brief. Harrowed girl. He gathered us all around and made a grand speech. Claimed he was the hero that would drive back the flood of fiends threatening Thavnair. Then he spoke of his anger at the recent rumors. He told us to go forth and repair his damaged reputation, so that the people would love him again. He became quite impassioned, in fact. Uncouth thug. As for us two, we were here to teach him a lesson, biding our time until his back was turned. But we couldn't stomach his self-righteous drivel any longer. He acts like he's a god come to grace Thavnair, but most people have grown wise to his tricks, including the Radiant host. We stepped forward and told him as much, then demanded that he admit he's been pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. That's when he started waving that thing about. We soon learned that the rumors of its power were true, and rocks started falling down around us. Harrowed girl. Even us true believers were not spared. There was nowhere to run. The Justiciar said such power cannot be fettered, and that sacrifices are unavoidable. And all the while, he was laughing. We pleaded with him for mercy, but that just made him angrier. He flourished the object again, and yet more rocks assailed us. It was horrible, stones big and small raining down endlessly, until you two appeared, that is. Topeka, thank you for telling us what happened. I only wish we could have arrived sooner. Now, just to set things straight, it was you two that brandished your weapons first, yes? Uncouth thug. Well, I won't deny that, but we were only trying to bring the truth of his misdeeds to light. Though we might have had some personal scores to settle on top of that. Topeka, before I left Palika's stand, I asked the Radiant host there to look out for anyone returning from the wilderness. I suggest you head there and seek their aid. While you're there, share with them what you just told us. And as for the pair of you, don't even think about running away, or you'll have us to deal with. Nya. What an interesting location. Topeka. Everyone has returned to the care of the Radiant host. As for those ruffians who meant to attack Virazan, it seems they had a history of violence for which they may soon answer. Several among Virazan's followers were dealt serious wounds, but we can be grateful that none lost their lives. It's exactly as the old saying describes. The master of the apex shall be showered with good fortune, yet leave only sorrow in their wake. The part about sorrow certainly seems true, at least. We can but hope that Virazan's spell over the people will be broken at last, when word of what transpired here becomes common knowledge. Let that buoy our spirits as we return to Yedlimad. Boy. Jävligt mad, jävligt mad. Ah. Almost there. Well, that was certainly an ordeal. Although Virazan got away, we can look back upon what transpired to plan our next course of action. It appears that the treasure takes rocks from the surrounding environment and makes them rain down upon the wielder's surroundings. However, the power seems to be somewhat haphazard. While Virazan himself wasn't struck, the boulders assailed friend and foe alike. Something else has been nagging at me as well. The stones we saw in the canals seemed quite a bit larger than the others. I don't know what to make of it, but I will give it some thought. We still don't know exactly how he controls the Apex's abilities either. We must focus on these mysteries as we continue our investigation. As for Virazan himself, he was just as his father said, wasn't he? His so-called heroism is an empty charade. Why did I say charade? His so-called heroism is an empty charade, like a child playing at being a hero from their storybooks. He seems motivated by a vain desire to gain the love of the people, yet he cares nothing for their well-being. He'll learn his lesson soon enough, though. None will sing his praises after word of what happened at Uznir spreads. Even he must know this. I worry that his desperation will drive him to worse misdeeds. If the treasure is used with reckless abandon, it could cause untold harm. I must discuss this with the Radiant Host. Together we might be able to capture Virazan before he attempts anything drastic. Stand by for now, Evray. I'll be in touch the moment I have something to share. Ugh, 2 more. What a drag. Behind the helm, Topeka wishes to share the contents of a recent delivery with you. It seems Virazan has been laying low since our last encounter. I'm sad to say, however, that my investigations have uncovered little. But still, there's cause to celebrate, for I've received a letter from my mother with good tidings. My father has finally awakened after the grievous wound dealt to him by Virazan. He's well enough to travel to Tuliolal, in fact, and may have already arrived. Of course, I'd love nothing more than to go to him, but I pledged not to return until I had the perch of the Apex in hand. Besides, I'm soon to depart with the Radiant Host to try and sniff out Virazan's whereabouts before he acts out of desperation. That's why I ask that you go in my stead. As the treasure's guardian, no one living is more knowledgeable about its history than he. If you share with him all that's transpired since we began our search, he may be able to point out something that we've missed. I know it's a lot to ask, Evray, but the safety of Thavnir depends on it, and please, give my family my regards. My mother should be able to tell you where in Tuliolal my father is staying. Once you're finished, let us meet in the Aetheryte Plaza in Radzet Han to share what we've learned. Yeah. My father may know something about the treasure that we've yet to uncover ourselves. Please, go to Chevalier of Tyr and ask my mother where to find him. Do yourself. Is that a man cat? Suhi. Oh, if it isn't Evray. But I don't see Topeka with you. Did you come alone? I'm glad to hear my letter arrived safely, and that Topeka seems to be as tenacious as ever in her search. Her father, Netse, has already arrived here in Tuliyollal, but has barely stayed in one place since. He seems desperate to help Topeka from a distance in whatever way he can. He told me he was traveling to the Pyarionan plain in search of information he assured me was quite vital. If you wish to speak with him, he'll doubtless be in the area. Itse has traveled to the Pyarionan plain in search of information most vital. When you find him, please do remind him that he needs his rest. Oh. Hi. This zone has the best music. That's it. Thank you, traveler. I overextended myself. I've but recently recovered from a severe injury, and was a fool to confront such a beast alone. So, you're the Evray I've heard so much about. I owe you many thanks for all you've done to recover the perch of the Apex. News of your progress in Thavnair is most heartening. Despite my position as its guardian, I never knew it could rain down stones from the heavens. Since arriving in Tuliyollal, I've done what I can to shed light upon the Tural Vidral sealed within the treasure. After the nations of Tural were unified, some left our village to build new homes in the city. I've sought them out to see if they know anything of use. Unfortunately, none could offer insight into the treasure's magics, but one of them told me that owls lurked around this place. And since the Tural Vidral sealed within the perch of the Apex was once an owl, it seemed logical to pursue such a quarry. I thought perhaps I could glean something about the ancient beast from their behavior. Like as not, some fundamental aspects remain the same even after transformation. But having heard your account, there is one fundamental difference that stands out. As far as I'm aware, no owl native to these lands possesses the ability to hurl rocks, large or otherwise. No doubt the Tural Vidral gained this power following its metamorphosis. I do believe, however, that it would retain an owl's core instincts. The one you fought didn't strike unprovoked. Instead, it watched me from afar with fear in its eyes. While this is normal behavior for most animals, I was surprised by how suddenly it descended upon me the moment I started approaching. It sensed danger and attacked preemptively. Maybe owls prefer to fight rather than run. First one? I don't know. That's it. I had thought the same. Oh, I had the same thought. The owl sensed the threat and chose to confront it rather than run from it. And this same impulse may have driven the Tural Vidral. Indeed, that correlates with something I heard from one of my countrymen who had relocated to Tuliolal. He spoke of a continuation to the tales passed down from the elders. No hunter's arrow could fell the apex. It was struck down in a storm of its own wrath, made wild by a heart affright. Thus was it sealed away at last. Now, judging from the owl's behavior, I can theorize that the treasure is activated when its bearer senses danger. And according to the story, this power can easily get out of hand if its bearer is panicked. Of course, this theory must be tested first. Virazan will certainly use the perch of the apex again. When he does, I ask that you and Tepeke pay special attention to the circumstances leading to its activation. You have my thanks. Loath though I am to admit it, I've yet to recover from my long convalescence, and I would only be a burden to you. I wish I could aid my daughter another way, but you more than make up for my absence. Please lend her every bit of knowledge you have, Evray. I pray that my daughter will soon return home, treasure in hand. Pray return to Tepeke, and give her my regards. I only hope an old man's wild theory can help you in your quest. So long. Tepeke. Evray, you came just in time. Virazan has shown his face in Radzadhan. You can tell me about your journey to Tuliolal later. For now, come with me. Virazan. Ahahaha. Are you surprised? Thanks to the sage counsel of a fellow hero, I have decided to doff my mask. Although my face may be unfamiliar, I believe you know who I am. I was once the Justiciar, but now you may call me Virazan. I am Thavnair's protector, its savior, its hero. You may have heard salacious rumors that I have orchestrated the very attacks which I so valiantly drive back. That I was behind the catastrophe at the Uznir canals. I am here to assure you that those are false aspersions all, cast by those who are envious of their betters. I give my life for this fair city and its people, and I would give more still if I could. Anxious Radiant. What should we do? It might be best to lock him up before this gets out of hand. Exasperated Radiant. Wait. We don't want him raining down rocks with all these bystanders around. For now, keep a careful eye on him. Virazan, all I ask for you is your respect. No, all I ask for is your respect, your adoration, a dream held by all, but realized only by the few. And I would be one of those few. I have proven myself worthy of being your savior, and now, with an entire city watching with bated breath, I shall declare my intent to reach even higher. Yes, for I can protect you all the better as your ruler. I shall retire the mantle of hero and take up the crown as the king of Radzadhan. Hanish citizen. The bastard's gone mad. Virazan. I wield power unassailable. With me on your throne, you would never again have cause to fear. All would live in peace. All would shower me with love. They would shout it to the heavens. And from that love would spring a new Radz-at-Han, a greater Radz-at-Han. Tepeke, enough of your lies, Virazan. The power you wield protects none but yourself. To everyone else it brings only ruin. Virazan, of course, the road to greatness is ever paved with necessary sacrifices. Yet so long as your ruler lives, Radz-at-Han shall know naught but prosperity. Hanish citizen, you think you're better than Master Vritra. He bore this city and its people on his back, while you look fit to collapse under the weight of your own armor. You're no leader. You're a damned joke. Virazan, does this man speak for you all? Is there not one among you who would follow me into a brighter future? Ah, but I am nothing if not magnanimous. Until you find the wisdom to accept me as ruler, I shall continue to stand vigilant as your eternal shield. Virazan's father. Stop this, Virazan. You're only making it worse for yourself. Can't you see you've become a laughingstock? Give up this facade and answer for your sins. Do so now, and the Radiant Host may yet grant you mercy. Virazan, my sins? Are you not the one poisoning the people against me? Do your worst, I dare you. It will only make me more powerful. Virazan's father. I know not what is in your heart, but please, end this madness. End it and return to me, my son. Tepeke, don't get any closer. Virazan's father. You two, why are you? Whoa, that was a big one. Wah. Anxious Radiant. Don't. If we fight here, there's no telling how many innocents will be wounded. Virazan. Pathetic, as ever. I tire of this farce. I have declared my intent to become King of Radz-at-Han. As for you two, this is no place for a battle between heroes. We shall meet again, mark my words, and then we shall decide who is the mightier. Where are you going? That's a dead end. We can't risk a confrontation in the city. We must focus on restoring order. We can't risk a confrontation in the city. Tepeke. You're right, of course. As much as I hate to see Virazan walk free, we've yet to ascertain the extent of his power. For now we must bide our time. I noticed that despite all his proclaimed love for its people, he didn't even look back at them as he retreated. Perhaps he couldn't bear to look them in the eyes. Or one of them at least. Guy almost died. That rock was bigger than him. Virazan pancake. Topeke. I've just had a thought. We should speak with Virazan's father, Evray. Thanks. Virazan's father. That was a disaster. Virazan is truly lost. At the very least, he's committed himself to fomenting unrest within Radzidhan. And although he's my son, I cannot condone his actions. His words are grand, but empty, and that ridiculous armor is nothing more than gaudy decoration. He is truly the embodiment of false heroism. What's more, this latest debacle has surely made him a criminal in the eyes of the Radiant Host. All I can do now is beg them to grant my son some small degree of clemency. Topeke, before you go, may I ask you something? After Virazan called down the rocks, did you see his expression? I thought it peculiar, but I'm curious as to what his father saw in that face. Virazan's father. Aye, it was a familiar look. When I used to scold him for losing himself in make-believe, he would get that same cast in his eyes. A look of petulant rage, as if he resented me for pulling him out of his reverie and into harsh reality. He hasn't changed. Apologies, but I must go. Topeke. Just as I thought. Even clad in his shining armor, he can't bear to be told no. And now his childish games have taken a malevolent turn. But for now, we should return to Yedlimad. I still have yet to hear what you learned in Tuliolal after all. Topeke. Now that we have some room to breathe, I'd like to hear about your journey to Tural. Did my father have anything to share? I'm heartened to know he's well enough to go chasing after owls and such, though I wish he'd take more care. Thank you for saving him and for bringing me his theory concerning the treasure. If it really is triggered by a sense of impending danger, that might explain why Virazan had trouble using it the first time. He wasn't truly afraid of that small fungi until it was almost upon him. Also explains how he can wield the Apex's powers despite having no training in magics. It responds to emotion, not intent. So much is falling into place. He goaded the Radiants into apprehending him because he knew the threat would be answered. You saw how nonchalantly he quit the plaza, almost as if defying someone to stop him. Virazan truly believes himself to be untouchable. I think his words and deeds align with the theory well enough. As for that curious fragment of a story, it seemed to imply that Tural Vidral lost control in a panic. Perhaps its strength grows in proportion to the danger it senses. And when that danger is too great, well, you saw what happened at the Uznir canals in Radzidhan. You were present both times, as were others who've wished Virazan ill. And both times we saw stones much larger than we've seen before. Now I understand why he's so eager to face you. An opponent of your caliber will strike fear into Virazan's very core. And that fear will summon a power greater than he's ever known. Power enough to bring a hero to its knees. To his knees. Or so he thinks, but we know better. We'll use that arrogance to our advantage and bring him crashing down to the earth. Although we may have to contend with falling rocks for a time, in a straight fight he'll be outmatched. So we strike fast and we strike hard until that fancy armor is nothing more than mangled steel. Although you may prefer to put your foes to sleep and whatnot, we know he has an arsenal of alchemical concoctions at his disposal. That's why I suggest a bit of good old-fashioned brute force. While you unleash your most fearsome destructive spells, I'll be your shield. Don't even think of holding back. I look forward to fighting by your side. Now we simply have to find a suitable arena. I shall consult the Radiant Host as to the location. Once that's decided, we'll confront Virazan for the final time. Thank God. Woohoo! Enhanced magnification. Whoa! Yay. Wah. Gimme. Heroes and pretenders. Tepeke is ready to tear down a false hero. You'll be pleased to know the Radiant Host were most helpful in finding a place fit for a duel. When I saw it, even I began to believe our encounter would be one for the songs. Speaking of which, it seems your name is on the lips of all and sundry. The people already consider you the true savior of Radz-at-Han and believe you will bring Virazan the Deceitful to justice. We apologize for putting so much weight on your shoulders, but something tells me you're used to it. The final showdown shall take place in the mountain pass leading to Khadgar, where great crystals will stand as witness to its conclusion, suitably romantic and suitably isolated. The Radiant Host have spread word throughout Thavnair that a hero has arisen to challenge Virazan, and his pride will force him to answer. The entrance to the pass is at the Giant Skull grounds. Let's head there at once to await his arrival. Ooh. Huh. Giant Skull crowns, quarried here by the wagon load. The purple streaked stone known as Giant Skull is one of Thavnair's most coveted exports. Incredibly dense and possessed of high ethereal conductivity, it is prized not only as a building material, but also as a component in the crafting of unyielding arms and armor, and the brewing of alchemical concoctions. Tepeke. Ramul here has opened the way towards Khadgar. I'm certain Virazan will arrive before long, and then we'll wipe that arrogant grin off his face. But first, we should check our gear and gird our loins for battle. Are you ready, Evray? Sramul. When I was climbing this ladder, dodging beasts left and right, it dawned on me that I had more courage than I realized. Perhaps I merely lacked the proper motivation to use it. Tepeke. There he is. Virazan. Through the cragged peaks of Khadgar, desolate winds blow over the field of battle. Oh, what a fitting location you have chosen for the conclusion of this legendary rivalry. I was right not to face you before, in environs unsuited to a struggle between titans. Now my patience has been rewarded and my heart races in anticipation. Tepeke, I knew you would answer our challenge. You would never be able to stomach the people calling you craven. Virazan, such boldness in the face of impending doom. Have you not realized by now that so long as I wield the perch of the apex, I am invincible? Tepeke, we'll soon put that to the test. You rely too much upon stolen power. It deludes you. You claim to be a savior to the people, but they have seen through your lies. Even your own father can scarcely bear to look at you. You're nothing but a small man, hiding within the hollow facade of a hero. And today we tear that facade down. Virazan, will you now? You may have the metal, but you have the puissance. But have you the puissance to claim the mantle of hero? My mantle. Puissance? I forget its meaning. Puissance. A competitive test of a horse's ability to jump large obstacles in show jumping. Archaic, literary. Great power, influence, or prowess. Oh yeah. So have you the prowess to claim the mantle of hero? My mantle. It's not your mantle. You're a fraud. Unbound Virazan of the Saber. Tepeke, the time for words is past. Follow my lead. Okay. $680. Oh yeah. $690. Sure. There we go. A little bit stronger. Virazan the Deceiver. Let the battle commence. Rainbow Drip. Oh, I've never used this. I don't know how it works. Grants white paint. Well, I can cast it. I don't think I'm supposed to hard cast this. When Rainbow Bright is active. What gives Rainbow Bright? Rainbow Trip can be cast upon consuming all 5 stacks of Hyperphantasia. Okay. Grants inspiration in 5 stacks of Hyperphantasia. Stacks of Hyperphantasia consumed upon casting certain spells while under the effect of inspiration. Which certain spells though? Is it just these? Oh well, whatever. Let's cast it. What's this button do? Ooh. Ah shit, I forgot about this. My mug of the ages. Ooh. Head face? Ah. Oh, I should have waited. Oh well. My armor. My armor. Oh, exo flares. Come on, man. Wait, don't cast that. No, no, no. Damn it. But that was skippable. Oh, man. Bro, even more. Oh. Uh-oh. Ow. Coward. He's naked. No, kill him. Kill him. Whoa. Alright, let's go. Ow. Yay. He's floating. Topeka. He's out cold. Now to take back the treasure. Birazon. What? This can't happen. A hero never falls. I must retreat. Yes, a tactical retreat. A noble retreat. So that the Justiciar may live to save another day. Oh my god. What's he gonna run into? Huh? Nice. We can only pray for amnesia. Topeka, I suppose the apex wasn't finished yet. And it seems that Birazon, in his cowardly haste, neglected to look skyward. Was it an unfortunate accident? Or fate delivering his just desserts? Throw the book at him. Topeka. He claimed to be Radzenhan's savior, yet he sowed only discontent among its people. Perhaps some days in a sunless jail will give him time to reflect upon the error of his ways. And now I've finally recovered the perch of the apex. Thank you for coming this far with me, Every. Nya. Yeah. Get. Topeke. The battle was hard fought, but we made it through. Virazan is the responsibility of the Radiant Host now. And now that I've done what I pledged to do, I must return home and bring the good tidings to my mother and father. Yet before doing so, there are many others I must thank. In the meantime, can I count on you to meet my family at Tuliolal for one final farewell? My parents will surely be glad to see you again. Sure. Teleport. Nitze. Why, if it isn't Evray, I'm pleased to say I've quite recovered since last we met. Perhaps one day I'll have the chance to save you in return. Suhi, I didn't expect to see you in Tuliolal again so soon. Is Topeke well? She's dead. I killed her. Suhi, she really did it. And the man who stole our sacred treasure will answer for his deeds. Topeke, father, mother, it's good to see you. I'm sure Evray's already told you what happened. I couldn't have retrieved our treasure without him. Nitze, so we've heard. Yet Evray also told us your wits and bravery were essential to your success. On behalf of our whole village, I thank you for guiding Topeke in her quest, Evray. Now the perch of the apex must be returned and put under careful guard once again. The story of the Tural Vidral's demise proves that we are not meant to wield its power as our own. Topeke, I'm sorry, father, but I disagree. Once I return to the village, I want to tell everyone what happened in Thavnair. They need to know what the treasure is capable of, or else we risk forgetting once again. I won't deny that the Apex's power is dangerous. I saw with my own eyes what happens when it's wielded with abandon. Yet during the course of our search, I also saw potential. If we fully understood how it worked, we could use it without risk to ourselves or other people. We could turn something we once feared to our advantage, instead of letting it become obscured in legend. Nitze, I can see the reason in that. We must be ever ready for danger, even in times of peace. Should our safety be threatened, the treasure may grant us a means to protect ourselves. But can we be trusted to use it responsibly? Great power breeds great desire. Someone with the same ambitions as Virazan may arise again, perhaps from among our own. Topeke, I dare say that once I've regaled them with the rise and fall of the Justiciar, they'll think twice before following in his misguided footsteps. As our forebears relied on the legend of the Sural Vidral's fate to forbid the treasure's use, we can rely on the story of Virazan's fate to urge caution. And this time we have someone who lived through it to tell the tale. Of course, if I'm going to be guiding people in safe use of a potentially dangerous treasure, I see no choice but to inherit my father's position as its guardian. Some may raise their eyebrows at the prospect of loose-lipped Tepeke serving as the perch of the Apex's protector, but I've grown from my mistakes. And who better to tell the tale of Virazan's and Tepeke's failures? Netse, your only mistake was in trusting Virazan, the same as I and many others. But unlike him, you have the willpower to overcome your own failings. Over the course of your long and arduous journey, you gained a wealth of experiences, and your efforts have finally been rewarded. You took responsibility for your actions, and by so doing, proved your conviction to our people. They shall listen to this proposition with open minds, I am certain. Tepeke, now we must say farewell, as much as it pains me to do so. I owe you a debt I could never hope to repay. Once I return to the village, I'll do my utmost to protect the treasure we worked so hard to retrieve. Until next we meet, may fortune smile upon you. Bye-bye. Yes, it's complete. All 5. All 5 are finally done. Reach for the apex. And I believe there is no conclusion yet. That is to be released in a later patch, I'm sure. What do these people say? Ral Majun. Welcome. How goes the search for the treasures? If there's anything you'd like to ask me about, I should be happy to tell you all I can. This is the same as before. Maybe this? How are things? As you well know, the treasures have all been recovered. The entirety of Tural, and the world, no doubt, is in your debt. Even so, the Passage of the Unbound consisted of 6 members. Although most of them have been accounted for, we can't say for sure that the threat they posed is gone for good. If we catch wind of any foul plots, we'll spread word at once. Stop by once in a while and we'll share all we know. And of course, you're welcome as an honored patron anytime. Cool. Yep, alright, that does it. GG. Until the conclusion arises.